Hello and welcome back to OT, the podcast. We're here to talk about watches time and how to spend it. I'm Andy Green.
I'm Felix Schultz.
How you going, Felix? Happy New Year.
Yeah, Merry Festivus Part 2. How's 2024 looking for you?
Great, we're back for another season. I'm going to have to update the artwork.
Yeah, is it essentially going to be the same artwork with 2025 Season 5?
Probably. If there are any graphic designers listening that want to give us a bit of a brand refresh for absolutely no compensation, let us know.
Well, for great exposure.
Speaking of great exposure, I've got a great guest getting some great exposure on this week.
Yes, look, this is one of those, the phrase white whale is thrown around a lot. But this is an interview that's been a long time coming with Rolf Studer, Co-CEO of Oris. The context here is the lovely Swiss gentleman that looks after the Asia Pacific market for Oris. He's a frequent and genuine OT listener. Like, I randomly get messages sometimes shortly after the episode drops going, oh, what did you know, which is always great. But every, few months he's like, oh, we should get Rolf on, we should chat to Rolf. Only took a little trip to Dubai.
Yeah.
Once again, the watch week that keeps on giving to make it happen. So we've got Rolf on, and it gets, fair warning, we talk about more Enlightenment philosophy in relation to, medieval culture than you would expect from a watch executive.
Okay. All right. Well, I can't wait. I mean, we were talking offline about the Propilot X and sort of some of the standouts.
Yep.
There was that salmon dial, which I think got a bit of attention. The Kermit.
I love it.
The Kermit video that they did with Hodinky, which was pretty cool. And then you were talking about the laser. You love
Yeah,
the
so the laser was the model, and we probably, we talk about it with Rolf. I'm going to assume, because I can't really recall too much of the conversation, let's be honest. It's quite an incredible dial. Like, it looks like it's sort of that oil slick rainbow effect, and there's actually no pigment on there. They've done it just with lasers on very specific angles to refract light, which is cool.
kind of like a bubble.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's a 39mm. It's titanium, in-house auto movement from Oris.
The Cal 400.
Yeah, yep, famously. $8,000 Aussie.
Solid price.
It's a pretty competitive.
Good watch.
Because they did that skeleton dial one. That was sort of what they launched with, right? A couple of years ago.
Could have been the skeleton. There's two. There's the Propilot X had maybe the big in-house caliber, and then the Cal 400. And I think the Cal 400 is the slightly smaller, and it's at 10 days power reserve, 10-year warranty deal, which is really, really great.
Okay. Yep. So the caliber 115 is the $12,000. And then they've got I don't think they did a skeleton in the 400.
Probably not. I don't remember. I don't think they've skeletonized that. The other one's a manual wind, and it would look better as a skeleton, so that.
Yeah, I feel like they did. I feel like that's what they launched with. And then everyone was like, this is awesome. If only it was a bit smaller. And then they did. So, you can get into this watch for $6,500.
Yeah.
For some of the plain, I want to say plain, but there's a salmon and a nice blue and a grey. So that's cool. Oris are a great brand.
A lot of, again, when back in the day, Andy, this is something we haven't spoken about for a while, the old watch matchmaker.
Yeah.
It was always Oris. You can't go wrong. There was always an Oris in the mix for very good reason.
65, that 65 is a great watch as well.
Yeah, and I think while the sort of, in some ways, the excitement has gone off them, like they're sort of, but maybe again that's we're not at that first watch buying point in our lives anymore. But I think if someone, there's still so many people out there. I was, they go, what I want to get a good watch. It's always an Oris. I had a friend who picked up an Oris from the boutique fairly recently, just unprompted by, didn't ask my advice perhaps wisely, and just ended up there. And I'm like, yeah, that's a really good choice. So
I'm still intrigued by the pink dial bronze one that they do in the 65.
Yeah, OT edition. Should we pitch one?
Do it. Now's the time.
Yeah, Rolf, if you're listening, let's make it happen. Hey, Andy, it is, as we play this, it is the middle of January. It is hot in Australia. This is being recorded before because we're going on holidays. We're taking some time off. We've got some deep and serious holiday recreation plans. What's on your January agenda? Anything significant happening?
Well, I think we've got a few things, a few irons in the fire for this year. So it makes sense to get away for a little week, have a little bit of a paced start to the year. You're going to be You're going to be overseas. Watches and Wonders in April. I'll probably be there. I'm going to have a good crack at getting over there this year. But I'm going to Indonesia. I'm going to do a little Bali trip.
Oh, sick.
First time.
Purely holiday?
Oh, look, I'll have my laptop. I'll be around. I floated the idea of a bit of a vacation record with you. We can check in.
Well, look, if the dates and internet connections gods align, we can make that happen. A little poolside. Maybe I'll be in Geneva and it'll be sort of wintry there and tropical. We can compare notes on, I don't know, hotel pools.
Yeah, so it'll be a week. I have to think about the choice of watch. Obviously, can't wear anything flashy. Not that I have anything flashy, but
that's a lie, Andy, and we very much know it. You've got the flashiest collection of Jacob & Co. tourbillons I've ever seen.
Yeah, the Godfather. I'm looking at the box of Zodiac that are next to me right now.
Ooh.
And I reckon they did say they wanted them back, but they can't get them back if I'm not here.
Yeah, and I think that's a good call. I mean,
the Tropic Rubber Strap.
What, Apple Watch? Would you do that, or is that too sort of?
Well, I won't have cellular, so I won't have the old Wi-Fi. I won't have internet, so that'll be a bit pointless.
G-Shock. Hilltop hoods. Works for Mount Isa. Works for Bali. You need a Seiko, little paddy diver.
Yeah, maybe it's time. That would be, maybe I'll pick something up duty-free on the way out. Maybe I'll just go naked wrist. Maybe I won't have anything.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout either. If you're on holidays, why bother? Well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere all week.
I will update you when I pick something. What about you? What have you got? You've got a bit of time off.
Yeah, look, again, similar sort of thing. Going to the beach, just locally, not fancy beach, with the kids for a while. Mm-hmm. A lot of that, honestly, sort of school holiday admin around, who's working, who's not working, and who's looking after the children. I've got a holiday mission with my kid to get the gold Mario in Mario Kart 8.
Okay.
Are you familiar with that?
No, talk to me.
Basically, you got to win everything on the hardest difficulty, and you get like a special thing. So
okay,
it's good to have goals, Andy. And otherwise, working my way through BritBox. Are you across BritBox?
No, what's that?
It's a streaming service that's essentially British content. So it's like the BBC. And,
so have you done a free trial for 7 days and you're just seeing what you
we sort of, I think we go on it like around Christmas time every year.
Okay.
Because there's a few things, but it's a lot of like dated procedural crime drama shows.
Are they dated though?
But there was one, and they're all sort of like they're two gardeners that are also police persons and solve crime through gardening, and or there's a range of people with quirky mental health problems that are really good at solving crimes, or they're two bakers that also are homicide detectives. Like all this sort of. It's sort of like the British version of the NCIS empire.
It's Midsummer Murders, right? That's the one where it's on an island and there's just
that's Death in Paradise.
Oh, is it?
Midsummer Murders is in the mid counties.
Yeah, but there's just constant murder.
Yeah, I mean, the death rates
it's insanely high.
What's the other one with? What was the Murder She Wrote?
Mm-hmm.
Like someone did the kill tally around this little old woman.
Point some fingers. Yeah. Okay, all right.
These are my goals. I wonder if Oris CEO Rolf Studer likes to wind down with some, British crime drama.
I reckon he goes skiing.
Yeah, I think we talked about nature.
Nature, yeah. I reckon he rides a mountain bike up and then skis back or something.
Right, he probably skis uphill as well.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, Felix, before we get Rolf on, quick reminder.
Yes.
Join our Discord.
Do it. Substack.
Substack.
Currently thriving right now. Look at it go.
And 5-star review. All right, let's get Rolf on.
Rolf, it's a pleasure to finally kind of officially meet you. I know I've been speaking to Oris, the Australian Oris team for years. I'm going to say years. And it's always like, we should get you to speak to Rolf. We should organise it. We should do it in, Geneva or whatever. So it took us a while and we had to both travel to Dubai to make it happen. But we're here.
Very good. Normally I'm not so hard to speak to, but yeah.
You're famously a very sort of, I don't know, famous, maybe this is a bit of a sort of an insider phrase, but you're famously a very accessible brand leader, and your brand is famous for being very open and transparent about how you work and what you do, which is great. Why is that? Is that a different perspective compared to, sort of the traditional Swiss the Swiss reputation for sort of smoke and mirrors.
Well, I can't speak of the others,
Of
of course, but the way we see our brands, and in fact, it is a real privilege for me to be able to live my own values, to express what I personally believe in and stand for through that brand. We see ourselves as being philosophically spoken, the citoyen, the product of the age of Enlightenment in a feudalist world that the watch industry is, right?
Wow. That's a fascinating way of. So what makes you, like if you're talking the age of Enlightenment, you're sort of you've moved from feudalism into the Renaissance. What are the great values and, new secrets of knowledge that Oris is espousing?
Well, if you look at the industry, it's still often being at the court, drinking a glass of champagne, feeling great.
Sure.
But not realizing that you're not free, right? Bowing to the king. And at Oris, we are in that context that we just mentioned, we are free, right? We overcame that, as Immanuel Kant says, that the self-inflicted mental prison that you find yourself in. And I think that's what makes us, right? Taking responsibility at the end is the key value of the age of Enlightenment.
Yep.
Not relating on other people to be responsible for you and your fate, but taking things in your own hands. And ultimately, that's then also what leads to our engagement for the environment. Because when you're responsible, you take responsibility and you change things if you see that they don't go the right way. And I think that sums up pretty well who we are, what we stand for, and from that also comes our brand philosophy, which is make people smile. That is our purpose. That's why we get up every morning. And making people smile comes from our understanding of luxury, which is an inclusive one. We see inclusive luxury as sharing joy about an object, as opposed to exclusive luxury, that is excludere in Latin. It's a very bad word, right? Locking people out, keeping people away, and creating envy. Envy is a very shallow feeling. It lasts for 2-3 seconds. The opposite of it is sharing joy about an object. And it's a totally different world, and that's the world we stand for.
I'm going to be very honest. I wasn't necessarily expecting to talk about feudalism and Immanuel Kant in my 10 a.m. Saturday interview with Oris at Dubai Watch Week. I was maybe thinking we'd talk about watches, but I like this. No. This is much more interesting, and I wonder the location we're at. So Dubai Watch Week, they're all about, and I've had conversations with some of the organisers this week. My mentality, this is my first year, is coming from Basel and coming from Watches and Wonders. I'm like, 20-minute slot, 20-minute slot, 20-minute slot, talk about product output. This place here seems much more set up to include, the philosophy of watchmaking and those sort of more reflections on time and, business and, these high concepts like exclusion and luxury and how they interact. Do you agree? Is it just me, or is this how you always speak in interviews? I'm sorry, I've never, interviewed you before. Are you feeling reflective in Dubai, or?
Well, how I speak in interviews depends on the questions I'm getting asked. You can ask me, show me the novelty. I show you the novelty.
Okay. Yeah. Fair.
You can ask me why, and I give you a why.
Tell me about the screws in the caliber.
Yes.
Sure.
And one of the privileges we have in this industry is that we make a product that nobody needs. So you better have a very clear answer to the why your customer should pay so much money for it.
Yeah, okay. Fair.
Right? And I really take this as a great opportunity, because we need to load what we do with a message, right? There must be, you make a statement with your watch. So what statement is that exactly?
Are you asking me, or
That's then up to every brand,
sure, yeah.
and then you can just go with the flow and make I don't know,
integrated bracelet like everyone else?
ta-ta, exactly, or actually have an idea what you want to do, why you want to do it, and how you want to express it.
Is there any tension between that approach and those lofty goals, between that and running a business and making products and selling products and marketing products and service, all that? Or is it?
Yes and no.
Okay.
On the one hand, I do think that this is the proper way to build brands.
Yep.
It is also the way we want to do it. We feel obliged to do it. We think we owe that to our brand.
Yep.
But you also must make sure that people understand, and not everyone is ready to talk about or think about these things, or even able to, without being arrogant, to absorb that kind of thinking, even though everyone feels it, When you think of our booth in Geneva, coming to Geneva really was a bit of a challenge, also mentally, for us, for me. I had to build that stand there. I've never been to the Geneva show before, and I had to build our presence at the epitome of exclusive feudalist luxury. So what the hell do you do as a small brand from Waldenburg without being completely crashed by this emotion from other brands, right? And the approach we chose is to express who we are. So there are all these palaces, all these halls there, right? But the hall is a place of subordination. The hall is always owned by someone. It's owned by the king, by the duke, whoever. You are in the hall, you bow. You come to Oris, you come to the piazza. Piazza.
You're taking me back to my undergraduate arts degree in a very, very real way. I did not. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I hadn't really thought about that.
The piazza is a place
of meeting.
It's the piazza, the medieval. Well, no, the Renaissance piazza is the place of the citoyen, right? It's a place of equality, inclusion, diversion, exchange. And you feel that. You come into our booth, there's no roof, right? Because it's piazza, obviously. And it's also cheaper.
Sure.
Yeah. So if you think a little harder, you come up with solutions.
It works philosophically and as a business.
Exactly.
Boom. Yeah. Hey,
and just to finish, and you feel better. People come in and they feel it. They feel that nobody wants to keep them low. They feel that you are on an eye-to-eye level. Yeah. That you can have an open discussion. That you can address things.
There's the gatekeepers are not as exclusionary as maybe at other booths. Yeah, it's interesting. We do have to talk about. We don't have to talk about watches, but I kind of want to. I've said for a long time. I think the Propilot X is the most exciting watch that you've done for a long time. The Diver 65 is great, but it looks very much to the past. This is, I think, something genuinely new from a design and a product that still fits within, what I believe Oris stands for. It's got the bezel, there's those sort of codes and those values there. And this latest version with the laser cut dial and the Kermit, we've seen primarily, from my mind so far, you've kept the case and the bracelet pure, and you're playing with expressions of color on the dial. What does the Propilot X mean for Oris or for you?
It is within our world of aviation. But it is a watch not necessarily for pilots, but inspired by aviation. And thinking about these two things already shows the difference in approach, right? When you think about the watch that's inspired by aviation, your mind opens, and you have completely different ideas in your head than when you think about making a watch for a pilot.
Yep.
And that's what Propilot X is. This cape that this case that has that is inspired by a stealth, or that has points of inspiration by a stealth plane. The materials,
Angles and
everything.
facets and,
The lift clasp, the bracelets. It's all very forward looking. It's all very how should I say, bold, right?
Yep.
And not just functional. And that's what this watch is, and that's why we can play with it. We can even make a Kermit watch with it.
Of course, yeah, and Miss Piggy, that's coming soon, right?
There are people who seem to know.
I'm manifesting. That's what I want. I don't know anything. I'm just hoping. I mean, I've also heard Big Bird. But maybe we can start some more rumors.
Please.
Oscar the Grouch. That'd be kind of cool.
Smørrebrød.
Which one's that?
That's the cook. That's the cook.
Ah, yeah. Okay, we call it English, or Australian, at least the Swedish chef.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
comes in like a meatball shaped box, maybe.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah.
So, slightly more seriously, are there any? You've never released a bracelet version of this yet, or a rubber? Oh, a strap version.
Yes. With Caliber 115, when we launched Propilot X, there was a perforated black leather strap.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there goes that cunning line of inquiry. Any complications? Are you going to mess with it too much?
Caliber 115.
No. I'm talking about this. Hang on. Is Propilot X specifically the titanium, or is it? Yeah. Okay. I've missed this press release, haven't I?
Man,
Mate, I didn't know Oris as
what
well
were you
as I
doing
thought.
at that time?
Oh, I don't know. Well, let's move on from that awkwardly.
Okay, let's leave that.
Andy, edit this out. No, that's fine. The dial on this one, for me, I don't know if you have them in Europe, but in Australia there are things that we call Christmas beetles. They're these sort of beetles with iridescent shells that come out around Christmas time, so in summer. That's what this reminds me of. Was that a deliberate sort of point of reference, or?
Actually, no. Actually, it started at a completely different point. We worked on sapphire crystal, and wanted to do something with sapphire crystal, and ended up with a treatment on titanium. It's really base level R&D together with ETH in Zurich, which is European MIT, and working there with post PhD people who are at really the basics of bringing physics to the next level.
Yep.
That's where this is. And to create that effect with that technique on titanium wasn't an expected outcome. But now that we have it, we thought, how do we use it? And, to have a watch with titanium case, titanium bracelet, now titanium dial that is very colorful but doesn't have a drop of color on it. Quite the opposite. The indices, the logo, are the negative of that process, right? Are left out from the treatment.
Yep.
I find quite fascinating, and also from going back to more abstract kind of thinking, more philosophical approach, that all it needs to create that is light.
You couldn't do that with a case, could you? Would it be too delicate a finish to have?
I would love to do it with a case, but that treatment is so delicate, it would rub off, wear off rather quickly. Yeah,
that's unfortunate.
Yes.
Get ETH to work harder on their laser technologies. I think we need to finish. We've been given the very, very polite Dubai time warning. It's been so good to formally meet you. You know, I've run into you a few times this week already. It's so good to talk about, you know, Immanuel Kant and European feudal history in the watch setting. I think there should be more of it. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to seeing, you know, the Miss Piggy watch next year.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Thank you, Rolf.
Thank you so much.
And we're back. Andy's been bullying me about sending Substacks, which is something you should definitely subscribe to validate his workplace harassment of me. What else can people do, Andy, to, you know, get their latest OT news?
OT.podcast on Instagram. Of course, we've linked up our Discord. We do it every episode. Email us if you like, otthepodcast@gmail.com. Otherwise, keep spreading the word. Keep giving us 5-star reviews. Make sure you're subscribed.
And thank you, Rolf from Oris. Thank you, Oris.
Yeah. We will see you guys next time.
Nice. See ya.